Well, flip-flops. Primarily, I wear flip-flops. There was one time I did the show and I didn't have any socks on.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with one of my good friends, and he said the whole time we was talking, having a discussion, he was like, "You just had your feet out, man. It was so distracting."
Oh man,
you just had your feet out. But I wear shoes all day because I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do these,
I'm
not
free. Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, even on weekends, it slides.
Mm-hmm. It's comfortable like this, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where was you at before you came over here?
I had a rehearsal for my church. That was in Winter Park.
In Winter Park
area, yeah. Yeah, on Lee Road. You know where Sam Ash Music Store is? On Lee Road?
On Lee Road?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, well, the place I was at was right off of Lee Road. I can't, past John Young and, yeah.
And is that it's for a church, at a church?
Yeah, my Sunday church I play at.
What church you go to?
That is Truth Movement Church. And they've been up for 5 years. That's the church I do music consulting with. My home church is Saturday church. We're not Seventh-day Adventists, but have church on Saturday. And that's New Heights Ministries.
New Heights Ministries.
Yeah.
Never heard of any of them.
Okay.
Churches.
You heard of Pastor Joel Polk?
Yep, I know who Joel Polk is.
That's their church.
Yeah.
Joel Polk and John Polk and all of them.
Yep. Okay. See, I know him. I met him from Place of Grace.
Oh wow, really?
Yep, I met him at Place of Grace.
So is this the one that sings or preaches?
I think he does both. Cause he did teach a word. No, it sings.
So he
sings. Yeah.
That's John Polk.
That's John. Yeah.
John Polk. Yeah. Joel Polk is his brother, his pastor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Dang,
yeah. And I work with John Polk. He's the one that actually got me into a lot of the music and helped me just get out there. Honestly, a huge mentor for me in music. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the sit down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am your gracious host, Daniel Tademy, and joined with me this evening is a very, very extremely, I changed from very to extremely talented musician.
Oh man.
Jordan Kelly.
Man, Dan,
how's it going, man?
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah?
It's going great, man.
Yeah?
Yes,
I'm glad.
Sir.
Thank you for sitting down with me, man. And I just want to let you guys know really quick that we are sponsored by Barbers by Nature. So get your hair cut. Also, if you need help with your finances or any type of insurance, hit up my beautiful wife, Oksana Tademy. She can help you guys out with that. And this is the first episode. So this is sit down history for you guys and you, Jordan.
Wow.
Because we're talking about this official sit down merch.
Yes. The merch looks nice to me.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna have to, after the show, I'm gonna go ahead and purchase something. Yeah, man.
I appreciate it. You'll be the first purchase.
Wow.
So that's big. Sit down history being made right here tonight.
Nice.
We have Always Be Creating for all you creators out there. The sit down official sit down mug. And we also have shirts as well. So hit that Shopify link in this video and check out the merch. Right. And if you would like to sit down with me, send us a message. And if you want to sponsor the sit down, send us a message as well. We'll get in touch with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, that's the rundown.
Yeah.
That's the rundown.
Okay.
So I appreciate you sitting down with me, man. And when the first thing when I met you, I was actually on a shoot. We were on a shoot, doing the recording session shoot.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The gospel song.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Need that picture, Doc.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
You was doing your thing on the bass, man. I'm like, yo, that dude, just the way you were playing and just the way you moved and everything like that. I was just like, yo, this dude know what he's doing.
Oh man.
And I took that shot of you, and I was like, yo, that was a dope shot. That was a dope shot.
Yeah.
So when we started chopping it up, I was like, man. And then you told me all that you did, and I was like, yo, you gotta come on the sit down.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man.
You gotta come on the sit down. So how did that come about? Like,
the studio session.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, actually, the person who was doing this song, oh man, she released her song, and she, I think it's called "Come to Jesus." This was called, and she called me on off my website. Yeah, because I was like, oh, finally, I got somebody calling through website, email and stuff like that, and she's looking for somebody to because on the website it lets them know that I do the recording and stuff like that, different sections of music that I do. She said, you do studio recording, we're looking for a bass player and a guitarist to like kind of do both and everything. So I said, I'm all in. We did business and they were already put together and stuff. They just had to find a bass player and a guitarist. So it was a pleasure to come through.
That's dope.
Yeah.
And we were talking when we talked offline, which I thought was really interesting about you, is that you've been doing music full time for how long?
Full time. It's full time. Probably about 3 years. It's always been part time because I was in school when I started. So
right.
It was the only thing I did, but it was still part time. But yeah, honestly, it was probably 3 years full time, like really doing it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or ever since I graduated high school, and it was actually 2018 when I graduated.
2018?
Yeah, so you can do the math.
Jeez.
I know. So, and I started professionally when I was 14. So, okay, when I was 12 years old, my dad bought himself a guitar. He was in his little midlife crisis, and just bought a guitar. Everybody's like, "What'd you get a guitar for? What are you gonna do with that?" And he got it, started playing it, learned chords, and he was taking lessons. And so when he was, he had it, me and my introverted self at the time, I didn't say anything, but it was very cool to me. So I took cardboard box and rubber bands and made a guitar out of it. And,
what?
Yep. And yeah, I wish I still had it, man.
Yes.
I could play it. So he saw it. He said, "Here, just have this one." And he bought himself a new guitar.
Wow.
And so we both were playing guitar, and now I'm getting lessons as well. As I got better, he gave me his other guitar, and then bought himself another guitar. So now I have two. He has one. But the new guitar I have, it's electric acoustic, so I can plug into the system and play. And at the time, my dad was pastoring. He retired pastoring. He was pastor for 36 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and so at the church, we're a covenant church at the time. I was playing the guitar there, and so I started playing it like a bass guitar. And he noticed it, and so he just watches, just being a dad. And it's like, as time went on, I came home from school one day and saw two big boxes and a bass guitar leaning against it. I'm like, that must be for me. And he bought me a bass and amplifier and stuff. And so when I got that bass, I start learning it, start playing it at church and everything. And then I start giving bass lessons at the age of, I believe, 13.
You were giving bass lessons?
Yeah, that's the first time I started giving lessons, and my first bit of money I start making. So my nice $20 a week for my one student, I saved up and then bought an electric guitar, because a lot of people been asking, like, Kelly, can you just get an electric guitar so I can start calling you to gigs? Because all I had was an acoustic guitar.
Right.
So I got an electric guitar. Got my grandfather gave me his old speaker and stuff, and I had to get a pedal. People kept investing in me, man. I'm thankful for that. And so, when I got it, I got called to play at House of Blues Gospel Brunch on Disney, and I started playing House of Blues at the age of 14. Jeez. And so so I've been playing there. You can do the math, 7 years, and this year I left. So
you just left? Yeah,
in January. And so it was amazing. That was honestly my favorite gig to do, because it's on a Sunday, it's gospel music,
right,
and just uplifting music and stuff. And people will come from New Orleans and from Hawaii and from Italy and be like, "Oh wow, I've never experienced like this before. Like I go to church in my country, but this is amazing. Yeah. People change their lives just to come to House of Blues and hear the good music. It was amazing. Yeah, and it's real because it's you know, a lot of shows have backstage problems. We didn't have that, man. It was amazing. Backstage, people tell stories and share stuff. Iron sharpening iron. Like it's good stuff happening, man.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. So I was sad to leave, but other opportunities, you know, you take them. But yeah, man.
Yeah. I find it interesting, and the reason why I even wanted you here is because like a lot of people that are even into music and that have that talent, they would love to be able to just be in a space where they can just focus on that.
Right.
So you said something that was really cool, and we talked about it before when you were saying that people invested in you, you know. So yeah, you know, how was that for you when you were seeing it? Because you know, when you're getting invested into that young and that early, you know what I'm saying? You kind of just like, oh, okay, that's not the norm. Right. Right. I mean, you hear stories about people, you know, having that opportunity, but more so than not, it's people don't get that type of investment. So like, what are you thinking about when you're getting those?
You know, it's funny. The hostess of House of Blues, Sandra Tillman Clark, she was like, Jordan, you're the richest teenager I know. I was like, whoa, no, I'm not. But I do know I'm blessed because, you know, my father is my biggest mentor in my life, and what he's kind of set for me. So even while I was going to House of Blues, I couldn't drive. Right. I didn't have a car license, nothing like that. I was young. And so my dad would wake up in the morning, take me to House of Blues, 30 minutes away, then go to preach at church, and then come back after church and pick me up and take me back home. And, you know, it's distance. And then when I have rehearsals, my brother or my mom would take me to rehearsal. Right. And then when I got my license, they're like, okay, here, just take the car, go. It's the investment. I recognized what was happening at the time, and people kept, a lot of mentors kept teaching me, be humble. Be humble, you know. I even had people like, because a lot of people say, oh, Jordan, you're great. You're sick on the bass. You're awesome. I'm just like, okay. But then the other people that like have my back and support me are like, Jordan, you suck. Okay, remember that. Like, they're kind of being funny, like, yeah, stay humble. I'm like, okay. But it's like, they're saying it's a privilege to have it. It's a blessing, and don't take it for granted, you know. And so all the stuff I use, I'm like, I don't, you know, I'm going to use it for what's right. And I remember even starting out in music, I've aimed to do what was right. And so I do believe I can speak for myself. Like my heart was like really in the right place of aiming to like help people and do what's right. And so even the reason for playing music. Victor Wooten said this before, one of the most famous bassists in the world. Along these lines, I can't remember verbatim, but he was saying when you play your instrument, you play music, play for other people in a sense of every time you're practicing to inspire somebody else to get better. And so now ever since I heard that, I said, anytime I'm playing, somebody might hear a scale or something and they're like, oh man, what was that? And I will show you. I don't care. I'm not hiding nothing. I want us all to grow, you know. Right. But yeah, you know, it was a lot. It was a lot, and I've realized today I'm very grateful for what happened. I don't take it for granted, and I'm gonna try my best to use it for what's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's big, man, and I like that because I know, like for me, I used to play the drums. I played the drums when I was like extremely young.
Really?
Yeah. I can't do it anymore.
You know, it's funny. When I was 3 years old, I started playing drums. I forgot before I was the guitar. I started drums when I was 3 in church. Then I started playing piano. I was probably around 6 or 7. But it was just, you know, whatever. It was in church, messing around with it. But after I learned guitar, is when I start taking everything seriously with music and stuff, and the theory and all that kind of stuff, and teaching, and you know, and then the business side of music, which is because a lot of people get caught up in the talent.
Yeah.
You got to know how to use it. They're like, your gift makes room for you, but you got to know how that works. Yep. What are you putting in the room, you know? So, yeah, man.
That business side.
Right.
Man, that business side is huge. And I learned that so late.
Oh, man.
I mean, I was going to events and I'm doing things for free and
God,
investing so much and
yeah.
and just trying to, because I rap. So, I mean, you know, you're a Christian rapper. You're like, oh, I'm doing this for God and I want to do this. And, and, you know, you're just trying to serve. And I mean, they're not going to pay you. Majority of the times, they're not looking to pay you.
Use up your gift. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Give you the God bless your handshake.
And now you're stuck. And you invested all this time and energy because music is not cheap, and people don't understand that. Music is not cheap. It's not cheap to do music. And then when you start charging, and people want to say stuff about you, but I learned quickly when I finally did start charging. Because it took me a long time to even get to that point. But when I started charging, I learned really quick to say, "Oh, you don't want it? Okay, well, I'm straight."
Right. So say no. Ooh, that's a practice. Learning to say no.
Learning to say no.
Oh my goodness. Because I remember when I was, especially being young too, it's just people. Oh, older lady. Oh, can you please just help us out? Okay. And that turns into 50 yeses a week for not making anything, using up your energy and stuff like that. But I really had to learn, you know, investing in yourself, respecting yourself, doing what makes sense. You know, even when there's a time where people ask me for to do a gig or something like that, they can't pay me. But if it who said this? DO3, David Outing. I think that's who. Yeah, I think he mentioned this. You know, again, I don't know verbatim, but he was saying if it makes sense, do it.
Yeah.
It may not make money, but if it makes sense, you see in the long run what happens, the investment that it actually has, and not just for you, not in a narcissistic way, but literally how it can help everyone in the group. You know, when I work with people, I'm like, who's all involved? How do I affect everybody in here? You know. But yeah, man.
I want to ask you. I want to get into like what that process was like for you learning the business and the business of music. But before we get into that conversation, I'll say this: like, so for me, especially in the Christian realm, when it comes to doing music and money and doing all this, I believe musicians should get paid.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
I mean, something. You might not have it at the time, and if they choose to not do it, to not, you know, want to get paid, or if they just want to service it, okay. But let them have that option.
Right.
You don't decide for them, because I don't believe, and I understand not every ministry has the finances to do that. Fine. If you don't have the finances to do it, fine. But genuinely don't have the finance. Don't just not pay them because it is a sacrifice. They're sacrificing their time. They're sacrificing their resources. You know, it takes gas to get out there, and then it's behind the scenes time. I'm practicing.
All those hours, man.
Exactly. That experience. It's when you go to a job and they pay you, you know, based off of your experience. The person with the most experience genuinely is going to get paid more. So that's what you ultimately that's what you're paying for. And most of the times in the Christian realm or in the church realm, and this is not a knock on churches or whatever, or not a knock on the church, but I mean, most of the time you see it, I mean, they're so willing to take from you, but very seldom do you see them giving to you. And so when people move away from that because they're not being given to, and I understand poor spirit and God's going to take care of you, but unless God is going to materialize this rent money, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, I can't pay bills with, well, God's going to take care of it. They want to see that money. So it's just like, for me, I feel like, you know, even if you're in the church, or even if you are a Christian singer or a Christian artist or a Christian entertainer, or whatever you do, comedy or whatever it is you do, even if you, whatever your faith is in, I mean, get compensated. I believe you should get compensated.
Yeah.
And like you said, if it makes sense, it's like, yeah, you don't do it for the money. So yeah, you do, but you decide where you want to serve and give freely.
Yeah. Yeah.
People can't decide that for you. Oh, you should do this because, oh, you got the money. You don't need the money. You don't speak for another person's pockets.
Hello. Right.
Don't speak.
Right. You're not wearing my pants. Okay?
Nah. So when it comes to the business side and you are, and you're a pastor's kid, we're going to get into that because I am too.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get into that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So when it comes to the business side and being up in the church, how was that for you?
So yeah, listen, I remember doing like little concerts or youth concerts or whatever, and it's paid, maybe $100. Yeah. Okay. But there's like 20 rehearsals, so don't drink how much you laugh. So in reality, you're getting paid like $3 an hour. Like it's like that doesn't make sense. And so I really had to learn it because my dad does business financial consulting and life coaching and stuff like that. And so and sales, and he's all into that. And so I learned a lot from that. It's a big asset for me. And so I had to learn literally how to set up my own prices, set up my own stuff. Because my dad pulled me aside. He said, look, son, he was telling me this when I first started out. He said, when you get into the music, you need to learn business. You got to learn that it's not only about your talent. It's about you actually having a skill set in the business. And so with that, I'm trying to think, there's the music, then there's the business. He bought me books. That's what happened.
Oh, you're a reader.
Yeah. Books, mentors, I'll do it all day. Books, mentors, seminars, I'll go to them. And it's like, business books, the Consulting Bible, that's one of the books, I forgot who's by, I wish I remember. And that's what really helped me, consulting. Because you consult people and you make a proposal. And there's a few steps, if I can remember it. There's the exchange differences. Then there's a relationship.
Dude,
relationship is currency, not money. Okay. Well, money is too, but relationship, you gotta have that. So exchange values. That's what the first one is. Exchange values, relationships. Then your conceptual agreement. Then your proposal accepted. Then your implementation, and then your results. There's 6 steps from that book, and I follow steps every time I deal with clients. If it's entrepreneurship, because then I had to learn with entrepreneurship, there's a difference between that and freelancing. And so, because till this day, I still freelance as a musician when I do gigs or for a wedding. They're telling me their price and what they want. Oh, gotcha. But when I do entrepreneurship, I'm telling you what's gonna happen. This is the proposal. This is the layout. I do that a lot with music lessons. This is what it is, and that's how it is. You want to pay monthly, whatever. And the thing about business, people love to get caught up with the money side of it, and because business is about 2 things: it's about making your money. It's also about helping people. Helping people for a profit. So it's like, but hey, there's also another quote. The business of America is business, so and that can go deep. But it's the business world is very, very interesting. But when you tie your gift, when you find your gift, find mentors too. Find people who already they're already doing what you want to do professionally, and go to them. Like all my life, I was around old people. People always call me old soul, and so, and I don't care. I'm good. All high school life, and even that's the thing. I was picked on for being that old soul or acting old. I'm like, I take it as a compliment. Yeah, because at least you're not calling me young or the kid or like I'm good. And so I was always around older people. I was always around the teachers. People thought I was a teacher. So, and I had a little more weight on me too at the time. I saw the pictures. yeah, man. I'm trying to do it right, man.
That's good though.
But and so even even in high school, I had mentors telling me one thing at a time. I was always doing multiple things at once and everything. So it's all that balance, man. But make war with a multitude of counsels.
You said a lot then. But one thing that really stuck out was the relationship part. Because for the longest, that was something that I struggled with.
Oh, wow.
Because I really felt like I was gifted and I was talented and that was enough. But I learned that being talented is nowhere near enough. A lot of people make it in specific places and don't have the best talent.
You got that right.
But yet they still make it.
Yeah.
And then what we do as the masses or the consumers, we clown them for not having the talent, but how did they make it? And it is because of relationships.
Yeah.
It's not even about the money. It's not about how much you market. You can blow so much money in marketing, paying for opportunities.
Yeah.
But without them relationships,
all my business happens through most of my business happens through networking, word of mouth, and relationships. Social media doesn't stand a chance to that. No. It's just relationships.
Relationships.
It's trust, man. Trust.
I told my wife this on Saturday. I went out to promote the show, to promote the sit down through word of mouth. I talk about this show a lot. I talk about it but it gets me into so many places just by talking about it to people, by mentioning it, or inviting different people onto the show. There's a lot. So I told my wife, I said, what happens in front of the camera is not going to grow the show. It's great. But what happens behind that camera is what grows is what grows it. And it's through the relationships. Yeah. Through the conversation. That's what this show is about. When you go to the Shopify page, I put on there changing the world one conversation at a time. Because I believe that this is something that's lost. Just the basics of conversation. And that's why I don't pitch it as an interview. You're a guest. Yeah. And we're gonna have a conversation.
Have a conversation.
Yeah. So you're a pastor's kid.
Okay. Yeah.
So your childhood, your dad was still a pastor?
I was, I'm the youngest of 7.
Stop it!
Yeah.
I'm number 5 of 7.
I love it, man.
I'm number 5 of 7.
Yes, sir. Wow.
5 boys and 2 girls.
Wow. Okay. Wow, man. Yeah, 4 boys, 3 girls.
Jeez. So is the oldest a boy or a girl?
Girl.
The oldest in our family is a boy, and the youngest is a boy.
Okay. Yeah. Girl, boy. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
Man. Yeah. So I didn't have a choice. That's okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Church, Jesus. Yep. Okay. Yep. Cool.
All the time. Yeah. All the time. Fall asleep in church.
Yeah. I had those moments.
Yeah. Front row.
Well, I didn't. You know what?
I was front row.
They threw me on the drums. I threw myself on the drums. I don't think I had drums slept.
Yeah.
I went right to the music section. Jeez. Oh man. Yeah, man.
So I have my experiences, as growing up as a pastor's kid. I'm 35 and I have children now. Awesome. So I do, and my wife more so than me. She makes sure she prays with them in the morning. She does that. At night, I have to get back to doing the praying and reading the Bible to them. But I plan on, instilling that in them. Now, I didn't follow in my dad's steps. A lot of people assumed I would and be the pastor.
Yeah, and you're not it.
I did. I have preached before. I have done it. I've done it.
Same.
More power to the people that do the church thing. Hats off to them. But it's a tough thing. So growing up, how did you handle all of that? Because I know it's a responsibility of your dad, and then you're just kind of along for the ride, and then you don't always know why. Because you're not at that age to where you're making a choice. your parents can't choose Jesus for you.
Right.
You kind of got to choose it for yourself. So like, what was that like for you? And then when did you even decide that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, I saw, this is real talk, I seen all my siblings go through it. So I learned from that, and I'm like, thank you God, that's another privilege, because I didn't have to go through it, like, because many of them have been through things with that kind of stuff, and not to name different dramas they've been in, but it's a lot of stuff that's happened, and I was able to sit there and watch and think and learn, and people other mentors say, okay, now you see your older brother or sister has been through this. You don't want to go that route.
Right.
And I've always prayed, done my best to do that. But it was, of course, when you grow into it, it could turn religious and cultural. And so it's like, I remember, I personally don't know what it's called. I just feel like God's grace is just there. Because I remember the church was on a fast at one point, and so we came together on Wednesday night and we had to do the prayer, and they told me to pray for my generation. And that was the first time I was crying in prayer, holding the hands, and I'm shaking, I'm feeling the presence of God, and I think I was probably 14 or 15.
Jeez.
And that was the time I gained a passion for my generation. Wow. That was the time I gained passion. So now I do anything I can to help people where I'm at. Like, this is, let's take your time. You're not really grown. You old enough to like do your thing, but you don't know everything. Stop. Nope. You don't. I know I don't. Like, so it's like, it was a lot that, the growing up in church. But I also think that my dad kind of protected me from a lot of the cultural stuff that happened in a family, or the same crowd of people getting together at the end of church and stuff. So new people that come in, they're like, oh, well, I guess I'm alone. They'll never come back. Because the church isn't for church people. It's for the world. So it come on in and be blessed, be healed, come, So it's a lot of stuff that my dad, I got to give them. He's helped me a lot with a lot of stuff. With stuff I didn't know, and I think there's stuff I still don't understand that he set in place for me to gain. So yeah, I mean it's been interesting. I've always been in the position to watch and see what happened, and then learn from it that way.
I think that's dope. Your dad sounds like an awesome man. and then just seeing you and just seeing what I've learned about you and perceived about you, you were able to come out and find that balance early, because I do believe that walking a spiritual life in this world, I do believe that it is a balance, because and I was talking to one of my brothers about this the other day. A lot of believers or Christians, I feel, they sometimes negate or forget about the natural, and they have this escape mentality, trying to walk this line and just focus so much on the spiritual, but realize that you can't maintain that type of spirituality. Like, Jesus is going to possess you and live this life for you. Right. That's not going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, realize that he's eternal. He's outside of time. He's heavenly. You're not. Your faith can be there, but realize that your physical body is going to have to be here.
There's a limit.
And so I don't think that sometimes we can grasp that, and it can sometimes come off to people as a little bit weird, and I started to understand that a little later in my life. It's just like, well, it kind of can sometimes come off that way, but it's not to negate the fact that we're not to have faith, and we're not supposed to be heavenly minded. Yes, do that. And then I was talking to my brother too, and I told him this, like, when it comes to like attaining different things or moving into purpose, and then like you know, things like that. And even like you spoke about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, even being a believer, we can put so much responsibility on God to produce for our business or something like that. You know, forgetting the fact that anything that you do is going to come with time.
Right.
You know, you have to put that time
faith,
in.
Man, people think faith is just believing, but you gotta work.
You gotta work.
Oh, you gotta work.
I posted a post. I said, having faith is great, but you also need a strong work ethic.
Right.
You know, like Jesus even had to wait till he was 30 to start his. Yeah, he was. Yeah. You know, even David, like you got to work for these things. Put in time. Excuse me. Show consistency. You know, and then reap the benefits of your labor. So talk a little bit about that and the work that you put in and achieving those goals, or making dreams instead of just having dreams. Like, those are goals now.
Wow. Oh man, where do I start? I used to hate school. I
still do.
Well, okay. I tell you what, because there's a difference between school and education. So I love education. So technically, if I'm being very specific, because I could be particular, I don't like school either. I never did, but I love education. And so when I was in school, but there was a time I didn't like any of it at all. Right. And so I remember, I think it's one of my brothers moved out. Him and his dog, they moved out. He had a dog, his pet and stuff. And I ended up taking his room as a music room. And so in there were encyclopedias. Well, all my older siblings used to use before the internet. I'm low-key calling them old. But, you know, they encyclopedias there, and even some of my dad's old books and stuff. And I just started opening up and reading it. And I'm like, this is about health. I just start like, whoa, and I was still in high school, but I started learning things at my pace, on the time I can learn. So in school, there's different types of intelligences. There's academic intelligence, which is what the school system teaches. That's what they're known for. But there's also emotional intelligence. A lot of students ain't got that.
Don't get that.
There's also
a lot of adults don't got that.
Right. There's also social intelligence. How to talk to people, how to respond, how to take a compliment. Then there's also financial intelligence. And there's many more. Those are the four I mainly focus on. So I'm like, yo, why don't I know this stuff? I just started reading books. Right. And so, you know, I just started to pick up a desire to learn stuff. And so then I started buying. I can't even tell how many books I bought this year, like especially the pandemic. That's probably where most of my money went. But books on psychology, I love psychology. Books on controlling your emotions, on sociology, finances, the stock market, all this kind of stuff that I didn't learn before. So it's like, let me get this now. So just and I even think when I first started learning music, that gave me that push gave me a reason to keep going in school. Because it's like elementary school, middle school is when I started really getting into music. And I didn't like school. I looked like the student that had all A's, but I was the opposite. I was not that student. When I started music, it was better. It gave me a reason to really, and I realized that after the fact, it gave me a reason to do work. Like, I got something to look forward to. I'm about to go home and play some music. I'm about to go home and make a video and share it with a friend or something. So I mean, I don't even know where to honestly start with, like, the work ethic and stuff like that. But I mean, a desire to learn. I guess there are a lot of factors. In high school, I've gotten into peer counseling classes, and so that's where we do peer mediations. You know, mediations. You sit down with 2 people, 2, 3, 4 people, and solve their problems so they can come to agreement. And so I was one in the head position. I love that stuff. Just sitting down, help people counseling and stuff like that. And I feel like that can come from like my dad, because he does that relationship counseling. And so I got into that in high school, and I didn't realize it until I started like telling my dad what I was doing. He said, "Oh, you're doing the consulting stuff." Like, "Oh, counseling. Cool. You counseling, yeah."
And what school were you at again?
Evans High School.
What?
Oh Lord, you went to Evans High School?
Yes.
Evans alumni. I'm 2018, but
oh geez.
Yeah, not make you feel. Yes, sir.
10th, 11th, and 12th grade.
Wow. Yeah. I'm all 4 years. 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, you did that.
Yeah, and I prayed about going to Evans, man. I was, because, I've had, wow. When I was in 4th grade, my first year of 4th grade, I was at Kingsway Christian Academy. Okay. And you gotta pay for that stuff. So that's the time when I was like making all F's and stuff like that. Literally, like I had a report card that I'm not joking. And my parents were like, okay, you go, so we got to pay. So I went to Hiawassee Elementary, and I thought I was like a kid that had it all. Like, I'm bad. Like, nah. That's when a lot of stuff changed for me mentally. I just went straight on to just doing what's right. Even I would see students doing wrong stuff, I'll be the kid coming in and stopping problems. I stop fights. I'm the tattletale. I'm not afraid to tell it either. And so from all that is I guess that thing of aiming to do what's right. But going back into the high school thing with the peer counseling, I was we sit down with students, and they would have someone to be talking. It was all, I don't know. I always had the girls to do. So it was always the same thing with it's over some guy or what they said on social media, and I'm like,
dang, you had to go to high school with social media.
It's interesting, but now that's all they're using now, working from home. So it's crazy, man. But I'm glad I graduated when I did. If I had to work from home, that's another beast, man. I don't know if I could make it. But from that, I gained a passion for helping people, sitting down with people. So even my best friend, he would, Dawson, he would have different relationships. Say, hey, can I sit down, like, counsel y'all right quick? Like, all right, like, cool. And I'd take notes and stuff, or have a phone call and set up a date. And it's just awesome. I never went to school for anything like that, but I have studied it though. Like I can sit down, so I don't call myself a counselor, but I do counseling. I can relationship advice, whatever, life coaching, mediations. And so that's what's on the website. I have music, mediations, authorship, and security.
Yeah, so, I saw that.
Yeah, man. But the business, all that kind of stuff, and just learning what to do. It's so much. Like, honestly, it's scattered right now. You kind of tell. It's all over the place. I got to really figure out what came from what. It's so much.
So,
yeah.
But your dad, what does he do now?
So he does in the ministry. He still does apostolic work. He'll consult with different churches, their plans, because a lot of churches are not very good with strategy.
They're not good with business, period.
But, yes. And
let's just say that.
Listen, church, people might get offended, but church is business. It is. It's.
You're running it. If you have bills, if you have expenses.
Yes.
If you have that there is a business behind it.
Right.
A household is a business.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, yes, it is.
I'm not going to talk about marriage because I don't want to offend my Christian folk.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
my goodness.
Business.
I'm not there yet, but it's marriage.
Marriage is marriage is it's a partnership, right? You come together as a partnership.
You got to pay to do it.
Marriage is somewhat of a business. Not to say that you negate and you take the feelings out of it and you don't have no emotional connection there. You do, but you have to manage that thing. Businesses have to be managed. And when you mismanage business, i.e. your church, whether it's mismanaging it spiritually, financially, or mismanaging the people, it will crumble.
That's good. Yeah.
So why we can't adopt these mentalities in the church is beyond me. If you're taking my money, if money is involved, you better manage that thing.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting into, and I understand the 501c3 and all that, so you get them tax breaks, all of that, but you still have bills, you still have expenses. And one of the things that get me, right? And now I'm getting into my church rant bag, and I'm gonna get out of it. I'm not gonna stay here long.
I'll try not to help you stay there.
But one of the things I will say about the church is just that, you bring people into it, you get them into this building, and it takes money to run this church. So now, especially depending on where you have your church, right? Where the demographic of your church, wherever you have it set, they're going to finance this thing. So if you're in a low income community, you're going to need some outside financial support, because you just can't rely on the tithes and offering of the people. And then you want them to pay it. And then when they're not paying it, you're putting all these expectations on them and the burden on the congregation to keep this thing afloat. I can't give you money I don't have. And I'm not going to take away from my house to fund this, because I got to go live there. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. So the church, I believe that churches, have your church, and yes, tithes and offering, but let the church have another way of bringing in income. Right? Let there be another way to bring in income. And if you can't do that, and if you're only relying on the people to fund this, I don't know. I ain't saying it's impossible. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying I don't know. If there is some other type of way, if there's a pastor out there or someone in the church finances that want to come here and sit and talk to me about financials, I will sit with you. Because I don't know. But that's just what I see. What were you going to say?
It's biblical, man. Business is in the Bible. Relationships, of course, is in the Bible. I truly believe everything we need is in there. So it's like,
I believe that wholeheartedly.
So how to run a church, business. I mean, even Paul was a psychologist. Like, I mean, they studied, man. They didn't just sit down. Okay, God, what now? They did that.
There you go.
They worked.
Oh gosh.
Man, people have it mixed up, and it's funny because it came to me now. You asked me about growing up as a pastor's kid.
Right.
I remember becoming very religious in high school. I would shove Jesus down everyone's throat.
Get into conversations and look for ways of throwing Jesus. I've been there.
And correcting people, all that kind of.
Oh God.
And it's not the spirit of God at all. It's just.
It was a dark time for you.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I had to learn. And people I had a teacher that did not believe in God tell me to be humble. And I was like, why is he? And it's funny because he was actually going around the room at the end of the year, English teachers. I don't know. They always the unique ones. I don't know. But he was going around the room and saying he's going to tell everybody what he thinks about them and how he feels about them and where they should go.
What?
And I was like,
teachers? That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, but I'm like, man, if he was like saved, like he would like do a lot of stuff. I'm like, for you not to really believe in the Lord like that and have faith, you're saying some real stuff. And so he pulled me aside, and humility is actually what I was being, a conviction at the time too, was just talking less, listening more. Literally, just sit down and be humble. And so it's interesting, man. I was going around just telling people what I think should happen, and that's so not Jesus like. It's not. Yeah, man.
I think I went through a phase like that when I first came to Christ, and I think every believer goes through that.
Yeah.
Because you get this new information, you get this new expound revelation.
This is how it should be
and
done, right?
It's like and what you have to learn though, what you have to learn from being a convert period, is that grace has to be there.
Yeah.
Like you can't
and
communicate
it only comes from
this
God.
thing. Only comes from God. Because when you start taking a look in that mirror, and then the patience and love and that he's shown you, which is grace, you start saying, oh God, I'm not as clean as I thought.
Right.
I'm not as and so I've learned that. My wife has been around while I've been learning that lesson.
Wow.
You know, and now, and the fact that this sit down is formed now at this stage in my life.
Yeah.
I do listen more. I will get into a room of people. Scripture says it. Even the fool is considered wise when he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So, and I was listening to someone say this. I forgot who said it. Oh, I want to talk to you about Dave Ramsey too, because you brought up finance.
Dr. Ramsey, man, I tell you,
the great prophet. So,
right.
But he said when he goes into a room, he doesn't want to be the smartest. And he wants to be quiet and let everybody else talk. Because that's how you draw that information. That's how you get it. And then once you're quiet and you listen, now when you speak, there's intent because you've learned about your subjects before speaking. And even and scripture shows that, like, you had these people doing things in the name of God, but wow. You have to show that grace. And even with the disciples, with Jesus and his disciples, right? And before his disciples even sent them out, Jesus sat with them and they learned. But you got to realize the way they learned. They were with Jesus every single day for those amount of years. Yeah. It wasn't like they went to a school and then they went back home and they slept, ate, chilled, and rolled with Jesus around the clock. So they got it in those few years, but look how much time was spent within those years. We'll go to a course and now we're just a prophet, a licensed. And we'll go to this course and then now we just got it. We'll do something online and then now we just got it. No. Sit down. Right. In the words of the great Kendrick Lamar, sit down, be humble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real, man.
So I don't want to get in my preaching bag. So did you want to follow up or do you want to go to Ramsey? Yeah. So let's go to Ramsey. He's brought about finance in the books you've read. Have you experienced Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, man. Dave Ramsey. I've learned a lot from him with dealing with credit.
Credit.
I've learned a lot from him with stock. Yeah, man. I don't. Not as much as I want to. I'm still reading about him, but I know about Dave Ramsey, and he'll preach he biblical stuff with finance. So I'm like, even with storing things and investing, I'm like, oh, that's biblical. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, and even with the talents in the Bible, and who were the talents given from? I believe it was from God. And so it's funny how we, stock markets, whatever, and we invest in all this kind of stuff. And I see a lot of churches getting into that too and stuff like that. The Lord
is investing.
Yeah.
Dang, wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's actually pretty dope, though.
But we have to start from where the talents come from. It comes from God. Right. So people love to do, I'm thinking about this right now. So it's when it talks about talents. People love to use that to say, "Hey, this is why I'm investing because the God told us to do this." But like, did that come from God? Like when you got the talent, that it was talking about the money at that time, talent's money, and you can also tie that into your talent. What are you doing to use it to invest in it?
Invested. Yeah.
But Dave Ramsey, he's one of my favorite guys to like listen to and stuff. What was it? The Money Makeover. That's one of his books.
I think that's
one. Because I think that's what we'll deal with, like credit repair and getting out of debt. He talks a lot about
Financial Peace University was a good one too.
Okay, yeah, I haven't read that one yet. So I'm behind in my Dave Ramsey books, but I will catch up.
Yeah, he has a podcast too.
That's
and
right.
I listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
And then he has the so and then my wife, she got the DVD. I mean the CD, the disc.
Okay, nice.
So like we still haven't listened to all of them, but from what I listened to so far, it's like really good. And he was in some crazy debt.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard his testimony.
He was in some crazy debt.
Yeah, him and his wife. Oh my goodness.
What I like the most about that though, like yes, the information is great, but the concept that you've developed this product that you can package and sell to literally anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he can package and sell that to anyone. Anyone can profit from that. And even when the people that he talks to, that they're not always believers, they don't always believe. Right. But this is piece of information that he has that's valuable.
Yeah. And, so many principles. Yeah.
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 And that can make you relatable in conversation. And you don't know how many people that he can actually save based off of entering their life through finance.
Finance ministry.
Dude, finance ministry.
Wow.
Which is a big thing. So I think that's pretty dope. What does your mom do?
My mom, she does teaching. She teaches, I guess, toddlers. But her whole life, she raising 7 kids. Pretty much children is all she does.
Children?
Yeah, and of course, as my parents being pastors and stuff like that, they done relationship counseling, marriage counseling, stuff like that. But yeah, she's a teacher at I wish I remember the name of the school, somewhere downtown Orlando. But yeah, she does teaching there. I think it's pre-K and kindergarten stuff. Yeah, so she loves kids. That's her spot, man. That's
kids.
Yeah, she'll take care of kids. Yeah.
You want kids?
Yes, I do.
7?
I'm patient, man. I don't see. That's why I say I see what God says with that one right there. Yeah. But no, I do want children. With marriage, children, I want it. You know. And again, I'm learning. All of my mentors have said this. Anytime when it comes to marriage, all that kind of stuff, they say, Kelly, wait. All of them said they either said wait or be patient.
Yeah, be patient.
And because difference between waiting and patience.
There's difference.
But it's like, okay, I'll be patient. I'll make sure I do what I need to do within the meantime until it comes.
Till it comes.
But yeah, I'm just riding out. I am in a relationship.
You are?
Yeah.
How long?
A year and I'm disappointed. 4 or 6 months. A year and 4 months.
Specific. She's not going to be that mad. As long as you got the year right.
Right.
So, got the 1 year.
It's a year and a few months.
Yeah? Year and some change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you meet her?
Wow.
I'm all in your relationship.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. So it was Evans High School. What's funny is that when I graduated, she was going there. So I'd never seen her before, but she seen me. And then, the day social media, I hit, who's this on my Instagram asking me about me playing drums and stuff like this?
Oh, she's in the comments?
Yeah. And slide the DM, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Look, I'm not part of this generation, okay? But no, we start having conversations, talking how, and then because I already graduated Evans and she's going there, we're talking about a lot of stuff oh yeah, I know that teacher, you have that teacher now, stuff. And we're just legit friends, becoming just brother and sister. I'd stop by their house to get hi to her mom and sister and stuff. And eventually just grew. One night we're like, okay, well, this is how I feel. So, wow. So I mean, but it's and she's into does coding and doing different internships and.
Dang, so she's smart.
Yeah. Look, if you want to talk about academic stuff, like that's her all day. I can't. I'm good with the emotional intelligence. You got the academic intelligence. She's good at math and stuff, and
dang,
quick. I'll tell anybody she's smarter than me. I ain't got nothing to hide. She can take that.
That's
but
crazy.
Yeah, man.
So, and she's in the church.
We go to New Heights. There's so much. So she came from Jamaica like 3 years ago.
Stop it.
Yeah.
My wife's part Jamaican.
Really? Yeah. So we go to New Heights Ministries on the Saturday church I was saying about, Pastor Joel Polk. And so we go to the same church. But our background, it's very different. Like she's not a pastor's kid.
She was in Jamaica.
Yeah. So I mean they had church. It was like this Pentecostal style or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man.
That's dope. So I would say, when it comes to relationships, be patient. Time reveals everything. Let time do its job. And then too, like there are things that I'm pretty sure you want to have in place, because they say it's never a perfect time to get married, and there's never a perfect time to have children.
Wow.
Like you can kind of say, I'm gonna wait till I have this to do it, but they say it's never a perfect time, because I mean, you always want to get more before you do it, and then whatever. But
wow.
I don't know how. Like I know when me and my wife, when we got married, we were together for a year through courtship, and it's what you put into it. We were together for a year, and then we got married, and then we had children after that. Gotcha. So I mean, 2 kids. I have 3.
Awesome, man.
You know what I'm saying? So take your time, be patient there.
Yeah, I always tell myself, because I try to make sure I remember like that humility. I remember the lack of experience the experience I don't have in certain things, and just things I just study. Because you can study all you want, but what something really happens in the situation,
that's where it comes.
I forgot all. So, but I always go by 4 pillars. Ty Lopez says this a lot: health, wealth, love, and happiness. And so, your health spiritually. He may not say this in detail, but I'd take a lot to put in my own. But health spiritually, mentally, and physically. You have that, then you have your wealth, not only your money or what you own, but also what you're able to give. So your health and your wealth, and that supports your love, your love life, not only romance and relationships, but family, everybody. It supports it. And then that equals happiness. The type of happiness is external happiness, because there's external happiness, then internal happiness.
Right.
But yeah, this is external happiness, and it's like, I've been told I'm very particular, and I have to be careful, because I was just talking to a girlfriend about this. Her name's Angelica, and I was just talking to Angelica about this. Like I sometimes compartmentalize things a lot, and it's psychology.
You're a guy. Guys do that,
right? So after that, I'm a guy, but I'm like, is that an excuse or like? But
that's the way your brain works.
Yeah, so it's like I gotta place this here and that here. At this time, that's me. At that time, that's what I do. And so it's just learning how to like just work with all that. It's interesting, man. But yeah, so with the 4 pillars: health, wealth, love, and happiness, I do my best to follow that. But it's funny, because when I met Angelica, I was like, yo, my health ain't where it's supposed to be, my wealth ain't, but I love this girl. I love her, and it's like, but then I had to learn, you build things together. Yeah. And of course, you still have your independent lives. You build independent empires. You put them together eventually. Right. But it's like, I don't know. It's just reality hits eventually. It's okay. Let's handle business for real now. You know? Right. So it's a process, and I'm learning to enjoy every bit of it. Right. It's hard to enjoy every bit of it, but yeah, it's worth it.
I think you seem extremely sound and grounded. you know, which is a great thing. It's a great mentality or position to have when engaging or approaching life, because it makes you adaptable. And at points in life, you're gonna have to do that all the time, because life and people are gonna be constantly moving and changing and evolving and growing around you. You know, so you don't want to be that stagnant piece. Refusing. It's to me, it's like an older person that does not want to accept the times. Oh, well, when I was growing up, we did this, and you don't want to accept the times. It's like, well, yeah, but it changed. You're gonna. Change
always happens.
That's it.
Every now and
I don't know how else to help you do that. It changed.
Yeah.
I had to learn those things. I'm 35, and since I went to school, and my first phone wasn't until I was in 10th or 11th grade, and it was a flip phone. Things changed.
Yeah.
You know, I had to learn how to get on social media. Social media kind of grew with me. I was at 18.
YouTube, what's this?
I was 18, 19 when that stuff just kind of popped and got popular. So I had to go my adult life while this stuff was changing and learn to just adapt to it. You know, so it's like things are going to always constantly change around all of us. You know, our children, when they get older, imagine what social media is going to be.
My goodness.
You know, so it's like, do you change with it or not change, not too much change with it, but learn it as you grow. Adapt to it, pivot, so that way you don't lose your business, you don't lose your things, don't fall behind, and you remain relevant with the times. Not trying to change and be what the times are, but find your place in that time. So that way your business can survive, your legacy can survive. So and those are things that I've learned and I'm still learning. But the way that you approach it, my thing is, to me, I don't know everything, but I can have a conversation with almost anybody. Because I feel like I had to learn it though. It wasn't always like that. And then even with the sit down, I plan on sitting across a lot of colorful individuals. I hope people vibe with me on that, because I plan on having some interesting people. But it's just for the sake for the conversation. But you want to make sure that you can survive in those spaces, and then you never know what happens, you know, off camera, the conversations you get into with people, even with what you do. Like you can go to different arenas, you know, it might not be a Christian setting, but you have this gift and this talent, and then people are drawn to that, to just you, who you are, this, and they don't know why they're drawn to you, but you're sitting there like, you know what it's about, and then now you engage in that conversation, and now you're able to plant seeds of life in people. And you don't always have to lay hands or convert or save the person that you're talking to. You could just water that seed, plant it. You know,
either the planter or the waterer, which one you?
Because God's gonna get his harvest when He's ready in that person. But we want to change a person right now. You got to receive it.
Right.
Be humble. Sit down.
And that is right. And that's funny, because even when I go to events, like secular events or whatever, I got to play at. And it's not my favorite thing to do, but I have to learn biblically, where was Jesus at certain, he went to a lot of places. He was humble. And so, you know, I've had in those situations, putting my pride aside, I don't know, I'm not all holy, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this. I'm a musician, let's go.
Let's do it.
And I go with the mindset of, let me be ready for anything, let me be cautious. And it's like, when I've had people come to me and say after a show, hey Jordan, I'm gonna hit you up because I want to talk about something personal that I've been going through. I'm like, all right, I didn't think that would happen here. It's like, in church, nobody want to talk, but anyway, but it's like, so, and people, because they would see J. Kelly quotes or just a message, anything, whether it's motivational or encouraging, or just me saying a fact or something that's helpful in life principles. But it's like, that's happened many times. I'll go to a show, and after the show, they'll say, hey, I've been watching your stuff, I want help with this. And the fact that I'm somewhere where you wouldn't expect a Christian to be, a walker, a believer in God, it's like, yeah, you minister anywhere. Ministry is simply, minister means to serve.
Right.
You know, and I'm minister anywhere I go, you know.
Look, I put it like this, and and we'll segue, we'll bring it to a close with this. So like two things. The first one is I did rap when I was rapping. Well, still rapping, but
yeah,
I've went to like straight nightclubs. Like people drinking.
Wow.
I remember this one particular event. I was downtown Orlando. I was at this event, and they reached out to me to rap, and I'm like, yeah, it's at a club. I'm there. You know? I go to this club. Literally, the act before me was a straight devil worshiper.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I gotta follow that.
Wow.
And I go in there with my raps, and I was just like, whatever, you know. So I went up there, did my thing. I mean, people with drinks in their hands, they're just dancing at the bar, they're doing it. I get off stage, this guy comes to me, and he's like, you were the best person.
Wow.
Out of everyone, you were the best person. Don't stop. Keep coming to places like this. We need to hear it. And this guy is drinking at the bar, you know, saying at this club, but he's like, keep coming to places like this because we need it.
That's good. I'm taking.
You know,
that.
Wow. And so after that, I go back out to the devil worshiper guy. It's like, hey man, I got this YouTube video I'm putting together. I'm battling rappers. You want to battle me on camera? I'm like, bet, let's go.
Yo, wow.
But the thing about it is, and that's just opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what became of that, but I think, and this is the second thing I wanted to say. I think sometimes in the church we can get so caught up to only going to the church, and it's just like. I mean, not to say that they have it all together, but like, you know,
the expectation is like, ain't nothing bad over here.
They don't, not gonna say they don't need Jesus, because we still do.
Right.
And I think something important for even preachers, all of us, to remember, like, we're all sheep. There's only one shepherd, but that's another conversation.
Right. That's
like,
yeah,
we're good here. I'm gonna go out these walls. I'm gonna go to this area over here. And I'm not going to try to save anybody. I'm just going to put my body there and just see what happens. Just post up.
Wow.
And let's get into some conversations and see what happens. And for me, that's what I want to do, bro. Like, I want to take all my gifts and talents. I want to take everything that I do, my music and everything, and I want to go all the way left field with it.
Yeah.
And let's strike up some stuff over here. See what happens. You know, because honestly, like, what's the point of going to church every single Sunday, powering up, you getting all this stuff, now where you going? You just gonna go to another church over here?
Wow.
And serve over here? Wow. Just to get powered up and do all this, to go to another church and then to another church, and all you're around is just
like, it becomes selfish.
Who you gonna wow. Like, let's go talk to someone that doesn't know. Let's show you, put all this up. But that's just my opinion. So everything.
Yeah, but because it says to go out and he says to go out and make disciples. That's our purpose. so it's like we stay in a comfort zone
the whole time.
It's like, worship, go to the altar, cry, and which is nothing wrong, but what about the other part?
And that's why it's weird to witness and minister. Get out there, have some weird conversation, be like, dang, that was kind of weird. I don't think I did my best. And then learn from that. Keep it. Do you know how many weird conversations I had with people trying to minister this gospel? But it wasn't until I learned how to listen. Let them talk.
Wow.
And then when they ask me questions, that means they're ready to receive. I'm not casting my pearl before it's swine. If you ain't ready to hear what I got to say, I'm not going to talk. It's fine. I'll keep it. Because you don't want to hear it anyways. And you're not going to trample this. I had to live 35 years to learn these lessons.
Right.
But yeah, man. So I don't know. So let everybody know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And do you have something? What are you working? Do you have something coming? You had a book.
Yes. I'm working on a J. Kelly quotes book.
Nice.
And so it's a book pretty much with all my quotes, and it's explained. All the quotes are explained. May do it in 2 sections, a quote book and then the quotes explained book. See how that goes. But it's pretty much done. It's just the editing and then I want to make sure I am not a perfectionist, and this is the first time I've experienced being a perfectionist. It's so weird. I'm like, oh my God, this has to be But it doesn't have to be perfect because nothing is. But progress, progress over perfection. That's my mindset with that, at least. But so I have that book coming out. You go on jkellyindustries.com, jkellyindustries.com, and you'll see the music, mediations, authorship, and security. And also on social media, it is J Kelly Music, it is J Kelly Quotes, J Kelly Industries, Jordan Kelly. You can hit me up through that. Literally, email me. You can sign an email, DM me, direct messages. So J Kelly Industries, that's what it is.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for sitting down with me. Thank you guys so much for watching the sit down. We'll be back next week with some more dope conversation.
Yeah.
Make sure you head and get some merch.
Oh, most definitely.
Support the vision, support the sit down, so I can keep bringing you guys this dope content. I appreciate it. And then I will see you guys next time. Check it out. Wifey just told me to hold up the cup, so I'm gonna do it. Deuces. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me.
Right.
Thanks.